Hello students, welcome to this session of Matter in Our Surroundings. In this session, we'll be discussing about the change in states of matter. That is the change from solid to the liquid to the gas, and again the liquid to solid state. See, the states of matter can be changed, or the matter can be changed from one state to another by either changing the temperature or by applying pressure. See, always what happens, if you increase the pressure, the volume decreases. If the pressure on a given quantity of gas is decreased, the volume will increase. The pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Or if the pressure is increased, the volume is going to decrease. So by these two changes, that is a change in temperature and pressure, one state of matter can be changed into the another. So we'll be discussing about this change of states in this session. Now let's start our session here, students. Matter can change from one state to another by, it should be can be changed, can be or can change also, by changing the temperature, secondly by changing the pressure. Now see, this is a change. This is a solid, it has got a fixed shape and fixed volume. Now if the temperature is increased, it melts and forms the liquid state, changes to liquid state. Again, if this liquid state, if the heat is supplied to this liquid state, it changes to vapor or the gas phase. So liquid to gas. Then again, if the gas is cooled or the temperature is decreased, it will change to the liquid state, which is called as condensation. Liquid can be changed to solid state by again lowering the temperature. See, if you're increasing the temperature or supplying heat, your heat energy, that is, that particular heat energy is used up by the molecules to increase their kinetic energy. That heat energy, whatever you are supplying, is converted to the kinetic energy of the molecules. But if you're taking up energy outside, say if we are taking up energy from the gas, what will happen? The molecules will have less energy and they'll try to settle down. So this is solid to liquid, melting, liquid to gas, vaporization, gas to liquid, condensation, liquid to solid, freezing. Solid, if it's changed directly to gas, skipping this intermediate liquid state, then the process is called as sublimation. Now gases, if it is changed directly to solid, or if a gas is changed directly to solid, skipping this intermediate state, that is liquid, then it is called as deposition. So we'll be discussing about melting, freezing, vaporization and condensation. Right? So let's start with melting. See, what is melting? The process in which a solid substance changes into its liquid state on heating is called melting, or this is also called as fusion. So it's a process in which a solid substance changes to its liquid state. Like here. See this. A solid, this is a solid and it is changed to the liquid state by heating. Is what is melting. The temperature at which a solid substance melts and changes into liquid at atmospheric pressure, atmospheric pressure is taken as 1 atmosphere, is called melting point of the substance. It just melts. Now remember, at melting point, solid is in equilibrium with liquid. That is, their concentration, they are equal. Remember that equilibrium term. The concentration of solid is equal to the liquid, concentration of liquid. Right? So at melting point, what happens? The solid substance just melts into the liquid state. It just melts, or it starts melting, at which the substance melts and changes into liquid state at atmospheric pressure is called its melting point. So if I've taken a cube of ice, now at 0 degree it will melt and change to liquid. It's not that all the ice will be changed to liquid abruptly. It changes slowly, slowly. So the point at which liquid solid starts changing to liquid is what? Melting point at that atmospheric pressure. Different solids have got different melting points, obviously. Now this melting point also depends on the intermolecular forces of attraction. What sort of force is there between the particles? The melting point of ice is 0 degrees centigrade. That is, at 0 degrees centigrade, there is an equilibrium between ice and water. At 0 degrees centigrade, the ice starts melting. So that is a melting point. The temperature at which the solid substance melts and changes into its liquid state at normal atmospheric pressure. Normal atmospheric pressure means 1 atmospheric pressure. Now there is a difference in melting point of solid of, say, ice, wax and iron. Why so? Now again, it depends on the forces of attraction between the particles. I'll try to elaborate this. Say in case of water, these are water molecules, H2O. Now there is some sort of force of attraction between oxygen and hydrogen. See, oxygen of one water molecule and hydrogen of another. Again the hydrogen of one and oxygen of another. Now this sort of force of attraction between the electronegative atom, electronegative means it is oxygen, it is highly electronegative. Right? It has a tendency to pull electron towards itself. Now this sort of force of attraction between the electronegative atom and the hydrogen of another molecule is called as another molecule or same molecule is called as hydrogen bond. We'll not go deep into this. It is just the force, you just remember the force of attraction between this oxygen and hydrogen in water molecule. This is a water molecule, this is just bonded. And the force of attraction between two molecules, see this is one molecule, this is another molecule, there is another molecule. So the force of attraction between the molecules is what? Hydrogen bond, or it's just a weak force of attraction. Now in case of wax, wax is what, you know? It is an organic compound. It has got long chains. It consists of the lipids are there. There is long chains are there. You can say that there are long chains of carbon, oxygen, like that. The compounds, a compound is there. The formula is RCOOR. So these long chains are present. Now the more is the surface area, the more is the force of attraction. See, if this particular is one long chain and this one is the second long chain, so the area, the surface area is large, so the force of attraction will be high. Right? And iron, what is melting point? The temperature at which wax will melt, the temperature at which ice melts. You know, ice has got this cage-like structure. You must have seen ice floats on the surface of water. It doesn't sink. Ice has less density as compared to water. Why so? Because ice has got this cage-like structure. Ice forms a cage-like structure. So it has got less density. The space between them is more. Whereas in case of iron, strong forces of attraction is there between iron atoms, and that strong force of attraction is called as metallic bond. So a metallic bond is stronger than a hydrogen bond. That is why there is a difference in their melting point. Melting is what? Just changing into the liquid state. In the solid state, the particles are fixed at their position. Now when you are heating it, the particles, they move from their positions. First of all, they get away from their positions, and then if you supply more heat, they start vibrating. So there is a difference between the melting point of each and every type of solid. This is not water, it is ice actually. Ice has got this cage-like structure. Remember, ice has a cage-like structure. And its density is less than water. That is liquid water. Ice is a form of water, of course. Fine. So we can say that the melting point of ice is here is 0 degree, which is a different one. The point of wax is 63 degrees, and the melting point of iron is 1535 degrees centigrade. It means if you'll heat ice, just give at 0 degree, the ice will melt. At 63 degrees centigrade, wax is going to melt because the force of attraction between its molecules is large. Again, iron, the atoms are bonded so strongly that the melting point is very, very high, and it is 1535 degrees centigrades. Now, how melting takes place? When a solid substance is heated, the heat energy supplied gets stored as the potential energy of particles. Say, I'm taking up some solid substance, I can take some wax. Say I've taken this lump of wax, which is in a star shape. Now, first of all, when I'm going to heat it, what will happen? If I'm heating it, some energy is supplied. Now, initially what will happen? That energy will be stored in it as potential energy of the particles. Now, when more heat is supplied, now what happens? The potential energy increases. Say, when I'm supplying heat, the heat energy gets stored in the form of potential energy of particles. Initially, as it was in solid state, the potential energy is very, very low. But when I'm heating it, the potential energy increases. So the potential energy increases, which results in the increase in the intermolecular distances. Now, as the energy will increase, will these particles lie close together? Will these particles sit together? Take an example is yourself only. When you wake up in the morning, when you have had your breakfast, you're energetic then. At that time, you like to play, you like to watch TV, you like to roam here and there. Say, and when you come back from the school, tired, no energy, at that time, what do you want to do? You just want to lie down in the bed and rest. Right? Or do some work where lots of energy is not required. You'll not at all want to play again. This outdoor sports I'm saying. I'm not talking about the computer games. You'll not want to do that. The same is the case here also. See, the wax, the particles are seated very close to each other. Their energy is very, very low. See, if the energy increases, the randomness increases. Now, if I'm heating this, the potential energy of these particles will increase. Now, this results in the increase in intermolecular distance, right? That is, first of all, what will happen? The particles will go slightly far apart from each other. And when the particles are going far apart from each other, what will happen? There will be decrease in the intermolecular force of attraction between the particles. Thus, the molecules become comparatively free. Now, as I have heated, the heat energy has entered that particle. And it is stored in the form of what? Potential energy. Potential energy is what? Potential energy is the energy of a substance by the virtue of its position, by the virtue of its bond present in it. Fine? Now, the potential energy increases. Due to this, what will happen? The molecules will move far apart. They'll move apart from each other. Now again, when the heat is supplied, what will happen? These molecules are now comparatively free. Here they are tightly packed. The force of attraction was high. But in this case, the force of attraction is negligible. Now when more heat is supplied, the molecules vibrate vigorously and thus changing the state. Now if I am supplying more of the heat, the molecules will start vibrating or start moving rapidly. Now when they will start moving rapidly, what sort of conversion has taken place? The potential energy, whatever has been increased, will change into the kinetic energy. And they will start move rapidly. And thus changing the state from which state, that is solid to liquid. What are the characteristics of solid state? The particles are tightly packed. They have got ordered arrangement. The intermolecular forces of attraction is very large. But when you have heated it, the heat energy is stored in the particles as potential energy. Now due to this increased energy, the particles, they break up that force of attraction. Now this particular energy will overcome the force of attraction between them. The particles are now free from each other. When more of heat is supplied, they start vibrating faster, vibrating, colliding with the container and all sorts of things. So what is the difference between these? This here, the particles in the liquid state, the particles do not have orderly arrangement. The intermolecular force of attraction is very, very less, or it's less, you can say. So this is what is melting, and this is how it occurs. Now what is a melting point? The temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at the atmospheric pressure is called its melting point. The temperature at which it starts melting actually. And remember, at melting point, the solid and the liquid state are in equilibrium. The melting point of ice is 273.16 degrees centigrades. The process of melting, that is change of solid state into liquid state, is known as fusion also. Right? Now there is another concept, that is latent heat of fusion. We'll be discussing it in details later, but I'll just introduce this term. When a solid substance is heated, it melts and changes into liquid state at its melting point. We know that? Our melting point is the temperature at which a solid melts, changes to its liquid state at normal atmospheric pressure. That is 1 atmospheric pressure. The temperature will remain constant at the melting point until the entire solid has melted. So if I've taken an ice cube and this ice cube, it melts, right, and changes into liquid. The temperature will remain constant, that is the temperature will be 0 degree only here. The temperature is not rising. Though we are adding heat, though say ice melts at room this 0 degrees centigrades. The temperature, there is no change in temperature. Now the amount of heat needed to melt the solid depends only on the mass of solid. Say whatever heat I am required to melt this ice cube will depend on its mass. Obviously, more is the mass, more you'll be requiring the heat, or more energy will be required to break the force of attraction between the particles and make them free. Now as this heat energy is absorbed by ice without showing any rise in temperature. See, these are ice particles. Now they'll absorb some heat energy and they'll change to liquid. What liquid is there? Water is there. Now the temperature is not changing. If you'll measure the temperature, it will come out to be 0 degrees centigrade only. Now where is that heat gone? Or where is that heat utilized? Where is that energy utilized? Now that particular amount of heat is called as latent heat. So as this heat energy is absorbed by ice without showing any rise in temperature, it is considered that it gets hidden into the contents of beaker and is known as latent heat. The word latent means hidden. See, whatever heat you have supplied, what it has done? It has broken the force of attraction between the particles. See here, in this case of water, in this case of ice, I had shown you this hydrogen bonding over here. So whatever heat is supplied over here, so if you are supplying heat or you are heating it, whatever energy you are supplying, that is utilized to break these bonds. That energy is utilized in breaking these bonds or breaking this force of attraction and set these molecules free. So that is why there is no rise in the temperature. So whatever energy you are giving is stored in these molecules only. Now that particular heat energy which is hidden into the contents of the beaker is known as latent heat. The word latent means hidden. It's hidden over there. Fine. Say you serve beverages, cold beverages, whenever there's somebody coming to your home or whenever you have to drink any beverage, what do? You put in ice cubes into it. You don't add cold water. Why so? Ice is also melting and giving cold water only. But you're not adding water to it. You're adding ice cubes. Why so? Because see, when ice is melting, it will take up energy from water. Fine? Say, now this is ice cube. What it will do? It will melt. But from where it is going to take up the energy? It is going to take up energy from coke only. Right? And it will melt. So what is it doing? It is taking up heat from the coke, which is say warmer, or you can take the cold coke also. So the more warm is the coke, the faster the ice will melt. And when the ice melts, it takes up energy from coke only. And so the temperature is further lowered. The temperature of the coke will get lowered. Right? So when ice melts, it takes up energy from the surroundings, thus decreasing the temperature of the surroundings. Right? So till all the ice has melted, the temperature of ice will not increase. The temperature of ice will be 0 degree only. But it is taking up energy from this coke, thus reducing the temperature of coke. And so this coke will remain cold for the long time, rather than if you're adding cold water. So this can be a very good question in your exam, students. You can simply write the latent heat of ice is high. So when it melts, we'll be discussing this separately also. This is just an introduction to this topic. I'll be showing you the graph. I'll be telling you the specific temperature and also the applications. So you can simply write a two-liner answer here, that when ice melts, it takes up heat from the surroundings, thus lowering the temperature of the surroundings. Right? Making it more cold. Now we'll be taking up the evaporation, that is changing of liquid to gaseous state. See, we have discussed about the change in state from solid to liquid. Now the states of matter can be interchanged. That is, a substance can be changed from its solid state to the liquid state. Conversely, from the liquid state to its solid state. Now while changing from solid to liquid, what we had done? We had increased the temperature or heated the substance. Right? Or when a substance is heated, it changes from its solid state to the liquid state. Now if you want to change liquid state to solid state, then what is it called? The process in which a solid state is changed into a liquid state, into its liquid state, is called as melting. Now the process of change from the liquid state to solid state at a particular temperature is called as freezing. It's just the reverse of melting. So the process of change from the liquid state to solid state at a particular temperature and at normal atmospheric pressure is called as freezing. Now what is freezing point? It is the temperature at which liquid changes into solid at normal pressure. What is normal pressure? 1 atmospheric pressure. Now why a liquid state, a substance in a liquid state is changed to solid state? See what happens. If I have got this liquid, let's take up water, and when it is kept in the refrigerator, right, or in the deep freeze, what happens? It changes. See, this is water. Now when it is kept in the deep freeze, it will change into a cube of ice. Now why is it so? What happens? On cooling, the potential energy is released in the form of heat energy. So when you keep water in the deep freeze, what happens? That whatever potential energy is there in these water molecules, that will be released out. So once the energy is released, the molecules, they'll come closer, the intermolecular separation will decrease, and the force of attraction will increase. So on cooling, the potential energy is released in the form of heat energy. Intermolecular distance decreases. Say if the energy is decreased, what happened? Say if there is a solid, right? The particles are very close to each other. Now if the solid is heated, what will happen? It will increase its potential energy. And if the potential energy of the molecules is increased, they'll no longer be fixed in one place. They'll separate from each other. Now when they've got separated, the force of attraction between these particles will decrease. And they start vibrating. Now when the energy is taken out from this liquid, what will happen? There is a decrease in energy, so the molecules will no longer be separated. They'll come closer and closer. The intermolecular distances will decrease. And the force of attraction will also increase. I told you what sort of structure a water molecule or the ice is having. It has got a cage-like structure. See, this is H2O. Again, there is H2O, that is a water molecule. There is a strong force of attraction between oxygen and hydrogen. That force of attraction is, this force of attraction is called as hydrogen bond. So every time, between every molecule, there is this force of attraction. There is intermolecular force of attraction between oxygen and hydrogen of another molecule. So due to which it forms a cage-like structure. So the liquid then starts changing into its solid state. And what is freezing point? Freezing point is a temperature at which liquid changes into the solid at normal pressure. So this is all about the change in state from solid to liquid and liquid to solid. Now I'll be concluding this session, students. In the next session, we'll be discussing about vaporization and boiling. So now I'll take a leap, students. Thank you for listening patiently, and just go through your text so the concepts are clear to you. Though they are very easy concepts, they are not the difficult ones. But still, after listening the session, if you'll go through the text, you'll be through with the concepts. So thank you once again, and do have a nice time ahead.